Folks, we are back. The FTN College Basketball Betting Show. I'm your host, Mike Randle. Follow me on X at Randle Rand. And today we start our litany of college basketball experts. And I start with a good friend of mine who is a superior college basketball betting mind, the great Tom Casale. Follow him on X at the Tom Casale. He is the sports betting director for NOLA.com. He does work for Action Network, New York Post. He's been fantastic, covers multiple sports, but he's particularly great at college basketball, and he's really great at college basketball futures, which I want to get into with a little bit. So, Tom, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it. We got guests rolling here. This is fantastic.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be the first guest.
Oh,
Hope I don't disappoint you.
No way, Tom. You're going to talk me off the ledge with some of my crazy takes here. We are on a mission, Tom, on this show to get 1 unit per day leading up to March 19th. We are scalding hot recently. The last 3 shows are 42-14, 75% against the spread. Last night was 7-3, went very well. Still burned, Tom, about Hofstra and Duke. Still bothers me a little bit last night. They were close for a while there. But what I want to start with you is actually with the futures here. Let me share my screen so people can take a look. The key here is that recently we have seen that this poll right here, folks, this is the Week 6 college basketball poll. And the last, 1920 champions back to 2004 have been ranked inside the top 12 in this week's poll. So when I have Tom Casale on, who is the futures master, I have to ask him. There you see the teams from number 1, the buzzsaw that is Arizona, down to number 12, which is Rick Barnes in Tennessee. Which teams do you like? Which teams do you not like here as a futures wager? Because for the last 20 years, someone in that top 12 has won the national title. Talk to us, Tom. What do you think?
Yeah, well, the futures master bet Michigan State, so I don't know. I mean, they're terrible. But so a couple of things here when you're looking at the top 12. There's a few metrics I watch throughout the season. One is shooting, because if you can't shoot, you're not going to win 6 games in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Another is offensive rebounding percentage, because I think there's games where you're not going to be on, and are you going to get killed on the boards? And the other one's turnover percentage. If you look at some of these teams that lost the last couple of years, Texas, Kentucky, to smaller schools, what happened? They couldn't shoot well, and they turned the ball over. So those are things that concern me a little bit. Now, looking at some of these teams, listen, Oklahoma and Clemson's there at 13. They're playing really well right now. Clemson concerns me a bit only because they're not very deep. And if they get an injury, what happens throughout the season? Oklahoma, I think, to me, has been the surprise of college basketball. They've obviously got a great coach, but the way they're playing, there's a couple teams in here I like if you're looking to take a shot. One is North Carolina. I like the team. And I like the metrics, and their 2 losses are neutral court. I don't care about teams that lose early in the season unless it's Michigan State and you're trying to figure out how's this team ever going to be good. My problem with North Carolina is I don't love their coach. That's my one issue with them. But the talent is there, I think, to make a run in the tournament. Another interesting team for me is someone I bet last year is Baylor. I don't think Baylor had the right team last year. It just didn't come together. Sometimes with the transfer portal and everything, you get these guys and it doesn't mesh. I like this Baylor team a lot more this season. One last point I'll make, though, Mike. I know traditionally the champion has come from the top 12, but I don't know if San Diego State and FAU is a mirage. To me, the transfer portal has changed college basketball different than college football. Only 5 guys get on the court at a time in college basketball. So teams like Chattanooga and James Madison can go and get guys from bigger schools. So I think that's going to be something to watch, too, as we move forward the next couple of years.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also see, Tom, a team that I like a lot, and I like to be contrarian. When everybody likes them, I don't like them, and people are calling on them. Look at Kentucky lurking around 14 there, shooting really well. And there is no harm in them losing to UNC Wilmington, who I really like a lot here. So fantastic work as always, right on the money. Let's get into your play here. You have one play for today I want to talk about. We will kick it off here, folks. Tom is going to start us off, and then we'll do our usual where we go around and do some volume plays, and Tom will tell me if I'm freaking crazy or not. Tom, tell us why you like Southern Miss over 67.5 points tonight against McNeese State.
Yeah, I've bet the team total that McNeese is playing, the team that McNeese is playing a couple times this year, because I think it's a little low. I think their metrics are a little off because they've beaten 4 non-D1 teams. Mike, their last win was against something called Mississippi University for Women. I don't even know what the hell that is. I have no idea what that is. But so I think, they play at a slow pace, but their games have been pretty high scoring this year. And I think Southern Miss, that they started the year off a little slow. Their last 3 games they've won, they've scored 80 plus points. I think this total is a touch low. I wouldn't be surprised if McNeese State won the game. They have some good matchups. They don't turn the ball over, and I think that's going to hurt Southern Miss here. But I think Southern Miss gets to 70 points.
Yeah, I think that's a great play. I totally like it. I'm going to jump ahead, actually, so we can talk about the game. The play I actually like in this matchup, that's funny, Mississippi University for women. I'm still laughing about that. I like McNeese -6. Folks, this is going to be the first game that Will Wade has coached. He's back. Remember Will Wade of the strong-ass offer audio recording. It is the game there. I agree with everything he's saying. I think the game is going to be up-tempo. I do like McNeese can shoot the three, 41.3%. They are 4th in the country per KenPom, and they don't turn the ball over. Like he said, though, on defense, I think Southern Miss can also score with them. They had a big game there, 83-74. They put some big numbers up. I think this is a great play. I think it's a high-scoring game, and I think McNeese gets it at the end. You okay with that, Tom?
Yeah, actually, I was going to bet Southern Miss when I looked at this game, and the matchups just don't favor them. That's why I switched to the team total, because I think they'll still score some. But McNeese has 2 big edges in this game. They shoot the 3 really well, and Southern Miss hasn't defended at all on the perimeter. So if they're hitting their shots, I think Southern Miss will be in trouble. And again, the turnovers, number 1 in the country. Again, it gets a soft schedule, but McNeese isn't turning the ball over, and Southern Miss, when they're at their best, is getting a lot of turnover. So I think McNeese has the edge here.
That's right. We have him on, folks. That's what Tom does. Let's get rolling here. Get in some other games right around the list, and put some in the comments. I see some comments coming in already. Games you want us to talk about. Tom, I know you like Stony Brook at home, and I do as well, but I have an issue today against Norfolk State. And I remember last year, Norfolk State wanted to beat Howard in that MEAC championship. They were up 64-60 with 25 seconds left. They give up the 3. Then they can't get the ball in bounds. They turn it over. That has stuck in their craw. Robert Jones does a really good job. And look at what Norfolk has done here last 3 games. William & Mary smoked them by 34. Go on the road at VCU. Now, it's not the same VCU team, but that's never easy. They win that one by 3. Then Illinois State away, certainly a solid team. Stony Brook, not the same team. This is a Norfolk State team that can struggle on offense, shooting under 30% from 3, under 45% from the field, but they make their free throws, Tom. And I've hammered this home. You're going to take a team that's going to cover on the road. They gosh darn better make those free throws, and they do. And they also turn you over here. I'm taking Norfolk State. Line's going the other way, 2.5. What do you think?
Yeah, we talked about this before we came on the show. Living in the Northeast, I have 3 Northeast teams I like to play at home: Stony Brook, New Hampshire, and Binghamton. Mm-hmm. So I looked at the Stony Brook, thought it might be a good spot, but again, the matchup's not there for me. I actually think this is going to be a lower scoring slugfest, and I think your free throw and turnover comments are correct, because that's what could decide a close game. I actually think Norfolk, I think they're the better team, and I think they have some edges here. So this is one of the times I can't back Stony Brook at home as a short favorite.
Totally agree. It's been very lucrative for me, but I totally agree. I just don't like the spot. Next one we'll go to here, Florida Atlantic. Look, I was with our own Mike Kutry, the prop master here at FTN. We went to the Jimmy V Classic, and they were playing Florida Atlantic Ole defense against Illinois. Marcus Damask had 33. Terrence Shannon had 33, made like 50 free throws there, and they gave up over 90 points. However, I just don't think this FIU team has the ability to stay close. They allow 58% from inside the arc. FAU is going to kill them on that. They have not played well this year. They're only 3-7. Jeremy Ballard's team is struggling. They don't make free throws. Their defense is bad. They don't hit the boards. This seems like a runaway bounce back spot to me for FAU. I'm taking them first half, and I'm taking them full game. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the first half one quite a bit. FIU to me is a fade team this year. Like you said, they haven't come out of the gate well. They kind of floundered down the stretch last year. I don't see much there. I mean, again, they don't turn the ball over a ton on paper, but I'm sorry. I mean, FAU doesn't turn the ball over. And one of the ways FIU scores is getting out in transition. If you stop that, how are they going to score enough points in this matchup? I don't see it. I think, like you said, it really just comes down to if you're going to cover the big number at the end. But I do like that first half play a lot.
Next one we're going to here. This is an interstate battle between Queens and App State. I love App State at home. I love them when they play big teams. I took them on the money line and to cover against Auburn, and that went very well. They are 7-2. However, now they're going on the road against Queens. Queens is great at defending the three-pointer. App State on the road, it just feels like a lot. It feels like a lot to me to lay 6.5 points with App State coming off the big win against Auburn on the road against Queens. Queens, not a team a lot of people know things about, but they do play at a fast pace. They do defend the three well. This one just seems a bit too much. Not one of my strongest plays, but I'm going to take a team at home in a state rivalry game here, getting points 6.5. What do you think?
Yeah, App State is an interesting team for me because, somebody who lives around that college messaged me before the season and said, watch out, this team's loaded. So I've been keeping an eye on them. And listen, they got talent. They destroyed a good UNC Wilmington team, on a neutral court. Here's the problem, though. Early in the season, we're not quite sure how the home and away splits are going to work. App State's played 2 road games against what I would call average teams in Northern Illinois and Oregon State, true road games, and lost both. They also gave up a lot of points in both of those games. So I'm not ready to lay the points with App State on the road, but I do think this is a very good basketball team.
Another game here where I'm talking about a team on the road. I have found, I've been charting this, when you're laying 5 to 5.5 points on the road, that is a number that's very frisky. I do not trust. I like Tony Poolholt. I like North Alabama. He teaches them to get strong on the boards. What I don't like is they're shooting 45% from inside the arc. What I don't like is when they've played away this year, they got crushed at Mississippi State. No shame there. They lost to Tennessee Martin 2 overtimes. They got blitzed by Western Carolina. They played well against Kansas State, but Kansas State was shorthanded in that game. I am taking Charleston Southern here, plus 5.5 at home. This is a feel spot. This is just one of these games. I just think it's too many points. I don't trust North Alabama on the road to cover this matchup at Charleston Southern. Out of the Big South here with Barclay Radaball. What do you think?
Yeah, I was actually looking to take North Alabama here, but when I dove into the game, I agree. I haven't seen enough on the road yet, especially defensively. And
yes.
It's been 1 month, right? We've been betting for 1 month. You still got to hold here, and kind of a lot of these games I still sit back and watch and monitor right now. North Alabama is one of those teams. Again, I'm with you. I like the team. I got to see more of them on the road, though. When this is a team they should beat on the road, right? If they lose this game outright, then we know we have issues with North Alabama on the road. So this is a no play for me, but I can see where you're coming from taking the points with Charleston Southern at home.
Now, listen, talk me off the ledge. I don't like Murray State. I don't like Steve Prohm. I didn't like him at Iowa State. They are 3-5 this year. They don't turn anyone over. There's not pressure coming from this Murray State team. I understand that backing Mississippi State to cover a lot of points with Chris Jans, the way they play, is questionable. But I will tell you, Tom, they look good here against Tulane, dropping 106 points in that game. They struggled the 2 prior games, losing to Georgia Tech away, losing to Southern at home. Inexcusable. Chris Jans is a good coach. Mississippi State is a good team. No Tulu Smith, but he could be back soon. I don't think they stumble here. I am taking the team that I think is going to win the game, albeit 16.5 with the Bulldogs is a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you on Murray State. They're a complete fade team for me. I think that's a program going in the wrong direction right now, and they're going to struggle in conference play this year. Mississippi State, like you said, looks really good. I think they'll also dominate this game on the boards. The only thing with Mississippi State is they have those shooting games, right, where they just can't seem to find the bucket. If you avoid that, I think they pull away and win here in the second half.
Yeah, that's my hope, is that they're home and that won't happen. Now, listen, here this game is at a neutral. And you may tell me I'm wrong on this one. I have a feeling. I love small school teams like UNC Asheville. They have not played well this year. They did not cover against Michigan to start the year. They got blitzed by Wilmington, but I think that was a good Wilmington team. They have now lost their last 2 games to Kennesaw State away and Western Carolina. Now they are playing in Huntsville, Alabama in a neutral site against Auburn. But my issue is Auburn is coming off a massive win over Indiana, and they have USC at home. This feels like a lot of points. It's still Drew Pember inside. And I do believe that UNC Asheville, who was scalding hot from three last year, 38% from outside the arc, is going to finally regress. Although, Tom, I've said that about Michigan State, and their three-point shooting has not regressed. Is this a play for you, a no play, too much, even with Auburn on a neutral? What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of like Auburn to bounce back here. I think they're just going to dominate the offensive glass. So what's the path to victory for UNC Asheville?
Pray.
Watch early. Well, see how the game's being called, because they get to the foul line a lot, and Auburn fouls a lot. So if this is going to be one of those touchy games with the officials blowing the whistle a lot, then I think UNC Asheville has a chance to stay close. But if they're letting the Auburn guards get up there and be physical with them and not calling much, then I think they're going to be in trouble, because I just think the size of Auburn is going to dominate this game.
Next one up, I believe in Liberty. I'm going to ride or die with Liberty. They have impressed me. They impressed me with their 10-point win over Vermont on a neutral. However, Florida Atlantic, bad loss. Charleston, bad loss on a neutral. Mississippi Valley State, congratulations, won by 40. Then the Grand Canyon game, which they were up big, they let Grand Canyon back in. Tennessee State is not Grand Canyon. They are home now. They've lost 3 of their last 4. They shoot the 3 well. They're great from the arc. Tennessee State should not put up any resistance here. And the other issue is Tennessee State is going to give you turnovers. They're not going to shoot well, and they are allowing 36% from three-point range. That's almost 300th in the nation. No bueno against Liberty. I'm taking them first half and full game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Liberty is going to have to be shooting poorly from the outside not to cover this game. Like you said, Tennessee State is terrible covering the perimeter. Liberty's got all kinds of advantages here. I also say that there are 3 losses. When you look at them, I know they gave up the lead to Grand Canyon, but nothing wrong with those 3 losses. Those are good teams they lost to. This isn't one of those teams. I think Liberty probably covers this one pretty comfortably.
If people want a deep analysis of this game, you've come to the wrong place. I'm just fading Louisville. I don't trust Louisville. Now, it's only 4 points. It was 3. This is Brian Hodgins' first year at Arkansas State, but they are coming off an impressive 21-point win at home over UAB. I don't trust Louisville in this spot. They haven't played well. They haven't shot well on offense. There's no great metric here. It's just sticking to my priors on a team that I did not like, that I'm fading all season, giving me 4 points in what I think is a coin flip game. I cannot tell you, Tom, that I have some deep insight into Arkansas State here, but I can tell you I don't like Louisville.
Yeah, listen, if you're going to bet Louisville, this is probably the night to do it. I almost pulled the trigger. I'm going to be honest with you. And then I thought to myself, do I want to sit here having money on Louisville when the game's tied with 2 minutes to go? But this is a team at home that Louisville, as bad as they are, should be able to handle. They should get to the foul line a ton, which will help their struggling offense. I understand the blind fade. This might be, if you're going to buy low on Louisville, tonight's the night.
We did the McNeese State one. Close one here. We only have a couple left, then we'll get to your questions. I'm going to take Santa Clara off of 2 losses against Utah State. Danny Sprinkle, now at Utah State, did a great job at Montana State. First year there. They are 9-1, and their only loss this year, Utah State, was at Bradley. You know how tough it is to win at Bradley in overtime. No shame there. But they're playing a Santa Clara team, Herb Sendek. They're coming off 2 losses to California away, New Mexico on a neutral. They have played well at home. They have scored well at home. They also beat Stanford away. I don't like laying points in road matchups. Everybody knows that here at FTN. I talk about it. Very close game. Utah State. I like Santa Clara getting the 1.5. Wouldn't mind them on the money line either. It's time for a little aggression with the Aggies, even though I'm impressed with what Sprinkle has done so far.
Yeah, I actually like the Santa Clara team total over tonight too. You mentioned how they score more at home. The line went Santa Clara's way. It seems like that's one of the smart plays tonight. I just couldn't get there with the way the defense is playing. I'll be honest with you. Utah State is a team that their games I'm not really betting yet, because they're, to me, one of the big surprises. I wasn't overly high on them to start the season, and I bet against them once or twice, and they just continue to roll. So I got to see what this Utah State team's all about. I would lean Santa Clara here. I think they score in the 70s. They speed Utah State up a little bit. They don't like to play that way. So my lean is to Santa Clara.
Excellent. Great. 2 games left. We'll get to the questions. Tom, it's very simple. You're going to give me Creighton versus UNLV on a neutral in Henderson, and you're going to give me a UNLV team that is allowing 41% from three-point range against Bear Shireman and Creighton. That is not a good matchup. If you want to tell me that Creighton is looking ahead to Alabama at home on Saturday, fair enough. I just don't see it happening here. They're shooting 40% from three-point range, and UNLV is allowing 40% from three-point range. They're great inside the arc. You know, the big man inside is going to cause issues for UNLV. This is not home. I know it's a lot of points here, but they blitzed Nebraska away. They were absolutely on fire. That's a game that could probably be a little trickier because it was a true road game. They covered this at Oklahoma State. I am not afraid of UNLV in Henderson, right or wrong.
Well, here's the thing. I had a Creighton futures last year, and they missed the Final Four by going.
The foul,
yes. And I think they were 1 for 22 from three-point range in that game, something crazy like that. Yeah. That's what you're going to need tonight from Creighton. They're going to get open threes. If they're flat out cold and can't hit, sometimes that happens with teams that shoot a lot of threes. That's the only way they're going to lose this game, because UNLV right now, to me, is a disaster, especially defensively. Like you said, they can't cover the three-point line at all. And the last team you want to see when you can't cover the perimeter is Creighton. This is what I would do. If this game's kind of close early, this is a live bet for me, because I think second half, even if the game's close in the first half, sooner or later, Creighton starts rolling here.
And whenever I get these lines, last game here, folks, Nevada minus 9.5. That is Weber State. I apologize. Let me change that really quick. That is not Wright State. That is Weber State. I wonder what it would be, actually, if it was Wright State. That's a good question. Sorry. There you go. Got it up there now. That is Weber State tonight. So I'll pull this game up. Last one, Nevada minus 9.5. Here's my argument. There is no look ahead for Nevada. They are coming off their first loss of the year, playing very well. They beat Washington away. They beat Loyola Marymount at home by 14. A decent UC Davis team by 12 as well. They lost to Drake, got absolutely blitzed by 19 points. Now they come home. They are very tough at home. Steve Alford usually covers. They're great on the defensive boards. They don't turn the ball over. They're decent on offense so far, and they're good at home. Weber State, really slow pace. So if Nevada gets hot early, this game is over. Weber State is not made to come from behind. They are terrible on the offensive boards. They don't really force a ton of turnovers. They're shooting 44% from inside the arc. They're allowing 55%, and teams have shot an abysmal 59% from the free throw line against Weber State. That's bad luck. That's not happening here. I am taking Nevada to win by double digits. What do you think?
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of people on Weber State tonight. That's a team I got to watch a little bit more. I don't have a good feel for it. I will say this. Nevada's one of those teams, like I mentioned at the beginning, trying to find these teams that if they get to the tournament might be able to do something and make a run. I like this Nevada team. I like the makeup of them. Now, they've played most of their games at home. We still got to watch them beat Washington on the road, but we got to see how they play on the road. They get Hawaii Sunday. That'll be a tough test. But I'm going to stay away from this game only because Weber State can kind of slow it down and make it ugly. But this is another one, live bet. I might go with the Wolfpack. I think they get it done at home.
One of the big shames is that Damian Lillard never got to the NCAA tournament when he was at Weber State. Let's get to the comments here. Looks pretty good across the board. Another day of winning for Joey. You're right. Joey has tailed me here, Tom. He's gone 4 of 5. He cannot get the 5 for 5. I can only do 80%, Joey. I'm sorry. Al's in the house, always here, wants to make some money. We appreciate it. A good spot for Golden. What do you think there with FAU, Tom, in the game against FIU? They are weak inside. If we get a prop with Vlad Golden, the big man inside, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they dominate in the paint. FIU is really, really weak. Not only in the half court set, but in transition, I think there's going to be opportunities there for some scoring.
Folks, I told Tom 20 minutes. He gave us 24. I don't want to keep him any longer. He is the man. You have to follow him on X at the Tom Casale, sports betting director for NOLA.com. Great college basketball mind. Great on Twitter. Tom, we're going to be perfect today. I know we are. We're going to get every single pick right, and I'll have to have you on back every single show. My grapefruit juice and Tom Casale. Sounds good, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot for having me.